Hi, everyone. A very good morning to everyone. This is Roger Wang calling from Singapore. Okay, so first and foremost, let me congratulate Mr. Lucian, the president of PMA. Thanks for organizing this. And it's a very interesting topic that we are talking about, reimagineering, the future of marketing. Now, I hope everyone can hear me. Let me go on to my slides right now. Okay. Um, I'll have my tech team to prepare my slides. So today we will be touching on the top 10 trends of Asia 2022. Now, just to perhaps to inform everyone that these are the top 10 trends that are presented by all the countries, the 17 countries within the Asia Marketing Federation, and it is an initiative initiated by our founder, Mr. Pak Hamawan, in 2018, and then subsequently every year the Asia Marketing Federation members, the different country members will come out, will predict the trend for that particular year itself. So let me share on the slides. Next. Okay, this is just a profile of myself. I think thanks to the MC for a wonderful introduction on myself. Thank you so much. And I really look forward towards sharing more with everyone. And in fact, even after today's web conference itself, if there's anything that you want to check with me, you can always get in touch with PMA. Okay. Now, in 2019, next slide, thanks. In 2019 itself, in fact, towards the end of 2018, our founder, Mr. Pak Hamawan Katojaya, I think it's not no one new. I think everyone knows him in Asia, and in fact globally, he's one of the most influential marketeers. Okay, one of the top 50 marketers in the world itself. Now he actually ordained this for the Asia Marketing Federations to actually come up with the top trends. So that's where the very first year itself, we actually came out in 2019 January, the top 9 trends of the marketing in Asia. Now, if you have to see all the top 9 trends itself, in fact, in today, it's already happening. Okay, so and way back in 2018, 2017, we were talking about this trend. Trends such as retail banking. Remember, then was before the COVID itself. All right, omni channels, rise in utilization of digital payment gateway, increased popularity on internet, drone technology, which is today very relevant, the impact of retail disruption by unmanned vending machine. Now, that was way before COVID-19. And the growth in popularity in terms of business and with social impact. And the ninth trend then was the understanding and leveraging on smart home technology. Now, in fact, a lot of all these technologies are actually pushed forward because of COVID. So let's go on to the top 10 trends of marketing in 2020. Okay, I'll just touch on the past 2 years. Okay, now the top 10 trends that were being predicted by the Asia Marketing Association members, okay, were voice search optimization. In today's context, yes, we are all doing voice search right now. Hyper personalization of service and products, moment-based marketing, video search optimization. You're no longer relying on just web search. Okay, so now it's on video search. Nano footprinting. Now, when we presented that in January, I remember 2020, I received some of the feedback from some of the marketers from other countries stating that it is already happening. It is really true right now that we are able to print our own pizza. Okay, all right. I think now the technology has even developed into printing veggie meats and things like that. Okay, space technology, which will revolutionize how we experience technology. So remember, that Elon Musk, we have actually sent out a tour in space right now. Okay, and 5G with larger, broader bandwidth itself allows us to interact and faster responses time. Holographic technology itself, that we are able to meet each other on a holographic platform, and it is as if that I'm in your country right now using holographic technology, something that is widely used right now in the area of conference, co-working space, okay, and increased travel intention for social causes. Now, remember, all these are actually the top 10 trends in 2020, okay? Now, the top 10 trends in 2021, next. That is where the COVID actually started and it has actually went on for a year itself. So then I think everyone started to think about green technology, pervasive internet connectivity, and ubiquitous devices. The gig economy itself that is now happening everywhere because of traveling, okay, restrictions. E-commerce getting on even more popular, live streaming marketing itself, and on top of that, also on data science, AI, MI, remote working, all right, because of COVID, and elderly care because of COVID also, and at the same time, cashless payment, blockchain, and distributed ledger. And today, I'm very, very happy, in fact, very honored to represent the Asia Marketing Federation members to share with all of you the top 10 trends of marketing in Asia 2022. Now, before that, let me show you a video that we had done, okay? All right, so hang on. Okay, I'm looking on the screen. Okay, that's because my slides are here. Okay, can we show the video, please, tech team, on the trend of 2022? Okay, there you have it. We've just showcased the video. I think in a very nutshell itself, you actually saw the top 10 trends of marketing in Asia that are being predicted by all the national marketing agencies within the AMF. Now, let me touch on every individual of the trend itself very quickly. First will be the Metaverse technology. Now, next slide, yes. Okay, metaverse. I think this is really the buzzword right now in today's context, and largely because of COVID, also that this technology has actually taken on in a very, very big way. So, metaverse is actually a digital environment that actually created much like the virtual world that we're having in that were in video games, in fact. But the metaverse itself, it actually allows us to create our own avatar, and at the same time using the Oculus screen itself, right, device, right, that we're able to actually interact, and it almost simulated a very close contact itself in terms of interactions, right. The only thing is that you can't touch or you can't feel. You probably will be able to see and interact in another different level. All right, this is something that in fact happens way back, but because of COVID, it actually went on and pick up in a very big way. Okay, so you're able to feel the presence, although not physically, but you are right there with the people that you want to within this metaverse sphere or metaverse space. So as the media landscape for future fragments and digital channels multiply, consumers and customers are able to actually immerse in these avatars that are being created by them. Okay, now what has this got to do with marketers? In fact, marketers currently over the world, around the world globally, are looking at how to engage the customer's experience of creating the digital space, digital landscape on the metaverse technology itself, and at the same time able to interact. Although physical presence are being restricted, but however, this offer another new form of experience, another new form of interactions where you are able to interact. Now, Justin Bieber will be coming out with his latest concert on Metaverse, creating an avatar. And this has actually provided another level of interaction. So this is something that we really want to watch out for as marketing itself, and how are you able to actually capitalize on this Metaverse technology to be able to bring across more experience in another level. Now, as this is somewhat very new right now, catching up in a lot of corporates, in a lot of, in fact, concerts and conferences, even on classrooms also, okay? So some of the universities are already engaging remotely. Students from different parts of this world come together in the metaverse sphere or environment and able to actually interact with each other, simulating the close contact that they have. Okay, so this is something that that it actually includes virtual reality, augmented reality, and video augmentation. So this is something that or as marketer, we put it as the number one. So next, let's talk about the neural linkage. Now, neural linkage, it sounds a bit sci-fi, but in fact, it's already happening. Human and machines able to communicate, not just on typing or written, or not just on verbal itself. Now, at the neural level itself, that you're able to interact with devices, with machines, with using AI itself. So this is something that embedded chips. It's something that has been talked about pretty much long ago. But with Tesla, Elon Musk itself, I think has actually had a very interesting conversation with Jack Ma talking about neural linkage. Then, all right. So this is happening that as human itself, we are somewhat becoming a bit more interaction with machines. And because of technology in terms of neural linkage, it allows us a very seamless communications instead of just using text or verbal, able to connect neurally, and then the technologies or machines are able to pick up the signals and transmit it into something that's sensible for the machines to act. So uploading of data and information, it becomes at the nano level, and all these microchips will be able to pick it up. Sounds a bit sci-fi, but it's already happening. Okay, look out for what Elon Musk have actually said. So this is something which, as a marketer itself, you'll probably be looking at a different way of communicating with your audience. Now, imagine in future itself, your audience will be embedded with chips, and whatever information that you want to send across, it can be as easy as scanning the chips and information download into your consumer. Okay, let me touch on the next slide, third slide itself. Decentralized autonomous organization. Now, we all heard about blockchain technology. In fact, our 10 trends for this year, a lot to do with blockchain, if you see the next few slides. Now, blockchain framework is something that is very authentic, like what I said, and it is no longer being controlled by one or two superpower, as in the organizations. Now, Google, and Microsoft used to dominate the whole IT industries. But this is something that I think the professionals in ITs or in the communities in terms of the IT itself, that they find that, why should power only be controlled by just one or two superpower companies? So therefore, that's where blockchain actually comes into play, where every single individuals within the community itself has the deciding power, and at the same time authenticity in terms of the things that are being presented on web and online itself. So decentralized autonomous organizations were being set up in such a way that it actually removed monopolistic competition in the IT region. So it actually democratized the organization's transactions and make it a bit more transparent. Now, if it's only just by Google or by Microsoft, then there can be a bit of ambiguity on how they are able to control, manipulate the big data. But when it is decentralized autonomous organizations, it becomes every single individual, okay, being able to actually influence and at the same time to authenticate the information that are being shared. Okay, so this is actually the third trend. Now, fourth trend, game finance. Oh, this is something that's very interesting. As gamers out there, I think you all know that you have probably esports itself is something that is very, very, very popular right now. In fact, it's getting into the Olympic for esports. Okay, Singapore, we are preparing for this esports in a very big way right now globally. In fact, we have teams that are ready for esport at a very global arena. Now, for esports itself, for those you probably have some gaming experience, right? You know that when you are there taking part in esports and all things, I think the accessories are very important. During the olden days, we remember that when you play a game, you have to go through all the stages for you to actually get all the accessories that is being needed for you to get on to the next level or to excel in that sport itself. In today's era, game finance itself, it is where you are able to use blockchain, you're able to use bitcoins and all this, right, to purchase for even more accessories. So cryptocurrencies has actually reset the whole gaming industries in such a way that we are able to actually interact and trade all these accessories through cryptocurrencies, and thereby getting yourself up on esports on a higher ranking. Okay, so throughout multiple platforms, in fact, the whole game we call it the game finance. It's a very big ecosystem, and what implication does it have for marketer itself? Now, as marketer, we knows about gamification. Okay, using games to actually interact with your audience and with your intended buyer itself. Now, this is where you may want to look at another platform using game finance to allow them through your gamification process of engaging your audience and at the same time to be able to transact in cryptocurrency. Okay. All right. Next trend, NFT, the non-fungible tokens. I think everyone is talking about that. The latest craze, the latest platform of getting into super rich from a normal person or normal painter, normal creator into a super rich right now. Everyone is jumping onto the bandwidth of non-fungible tokens. Being the latest, it's actually the latest cryptocurrencies phenomenon that's actually gone mainstream and it's real right now, proven. Now, it comes in the form of digital content, digital assets itself, and collectibles. It's even on digital real estate that you are able to actually own part of it. Okay, so all these are you are able to verify because of decentralized organization. Remember, we were talking about that, and on blockchain itself. So while you are doing that, the NFT itself actually allows you to create digital content, such as digital artwork, which is something that, in fact, a lot of artists are actually jumping onto the bandwagon right now. And blockchain itself, non-fungible tokens itself on creating digital assets, right, is also a blockchain. Blockchain actually allows the proof of work, the authenticity of the creator itself, and able to transact over the digital tokens. Okay, so this is really the next big trend. If I were you, look into this trend. All right, if you want to get into this bandwidth, it is still okay. All right. So this is something which, what are the implications for marketer? Now, as a marketer itself, we are not just looking at physical assets. We should be looking at how to create digital assets for the company. And at the company itself, not just offering physical products, services, but looking at something that the digital assets that your company are able to create based on your current capabilities, creating digital values that you're able to actually use the non-fungible tokens in terms of transacting with the upcoming generations. So this is something that's very interesting, which we predict will go on in a very big way. So in fact, it is really in the talking points in Singapore right now. A lot of them are jumping onto the bandwagons. In today's COVID context, it offers another platform. So therefore, it is a platform not to be missed. So remember, it's not just about physical assets right now. Your digital assets, all right, is more important and something that you should not negate or should not neglect itself. Okay, sixth trend, we're talking about space tourism. Traveling to space has become something that is not just out of the box or beyond imagination. So remember, Elon actually sent tourists up on space. Now, this is where I think the next frontier will be looking at probably staying within the space tourism area, that you're able to actually uh, stay longer, sustain yourself longer in the space arena that is beyond the sphere of just our ground Earth. Okay. Now, this is something that, traveling up. It's already something that is the ability to actually stay into space itself. It's really there. The challenges really are the ability to actually stay on at the sphere's level itself, 1 day or 2 days, travel tourism. Now, let's bring it back to the conventional travel tourism itself, where you travel from countries to countries. You spend a bit of time, and whichever countries that you goes to, you actually spend, and at the same time, you actually sightsee, traveling area. Now, this take it up one notch further at the space level, where you are able to travel around the Earth, around the globe, all right, following the directions of the sun or even the moon, at night itself, that you'll travel around, making a 24 hours journey around the globe and able to experience this. Now, for marketeer, it actually offers, or even for the industry, it offers another new dimension of service to be offered to space tourism. Okay, all right. So, such as outer space restaurants, things like that will become viable in the near future. So, do look out for that. That people like us, commoners like us, probably will be able to travel in space instead of coming to Singapore to visit Singapore itself. You probably will be traveling out of space itself at a certain zone and following the rotations of the Earth while you travel. Okay, so this is point number 6. Let's go on to point number 7, Web 3.0. Now, Web 3.0 itself is somewhat very similar as what I spoke about, the decentralized organizations, digital decentralized. It actually is a product of decentralized digital decentralized organization itself. Now, really, in today's context, in fact, having superpower, monopolistic competition is something that everyone hate to have. The kind of environment where competition, it's really not beneficial for the community. So Web 3.0 itself is actually a break free from this world itself in terms of controlling on web. Now, it's not just about Google search, Google, or even on Microsoft. It has become in such a way that Web 3.0 allows decentralization at a very minute level, that each and everyone that is on the web itself are able to authenticate the transactions or the informations that are being shared right now. So it is very difficult in today's context to hide the truth away from the community. Now, if you probably has actually presented something that is not authentic, it will be able to pick up very quickly by the community. And it's not just by Google or whatsoever platform, and it's in fact the whole community itself. And that is the Web 3.0, trustless, that we are talking about. Okay, so it's not about, for marketing itself, it's not just about presenting what you present in today's context. It's really about presenting authenticity right now, knowing that there is a Web 3.0 community out there, which can be anyone that is actually on web. So be careful on the message that you want to send, and remember to authenticate, and when possible, to engage the Web 3.0 audience. Okay, immersive buying journey. Now, due to COVID, I think a lot of companies, a lot of retail sector has actually suffered due to fiscal restrictions of visiting to malls, going to your favorite stores. In today's context, I think online live stream is something that's so popular in such a way. So now with COVID, well, the situation of COVID is definitely will not be there to stay for a long, long time. So here is where, in terms of the buying journey itself, because of IoT, robotic, 5Gs and coming 6Gs, I think manufacturers and retail sectors or consumer itself, they've actually got used to actually online shopping. In today's context, if you do not have a e-wallet, you can really feel very, I would say, compromised. Okay, so in fact, it is quite common in Singapore right now. All the shopping malls, the major shopping malls, offering a service in terms of green room technology, like what I have right now, to their very own tenants to allow engagement, not just at the physical shop level, which now you're actually seeing because of all these COVID restrictions, lesser and lesser people coming into the shops. It probably will grow. It will turn into hybrid shopping experience. But in the mall itself, it actually allows their tenant to go into a room, use technology such as live stream, even on digital, creating digital. Remember, I was talking about digital assets to engage their audience further. So the buying journey has actually changed, not just live stream, but moving on when COVID becomes, or even now as an endemic, where social distancing are actually reduced to a minimal, people are getting out to the mall again. So it offers another platform of shopping experience. Okay, so look out, so if you are in the malls in Philippines, I hope most of the malls will be equipped with all this technology to allow their tenants, not just the physical shop alone, but another level. Imagine combining all your resources together in a studio room. So it will be a common factor to find a studio, live stream studio in the shopping malls, in every shopping malls where their tenants are able to take up airtime to continue to engage their audience. Next slide, three-dimension technology, mobility. Remember just now I showed you on some of the previous trend on the Asia Marketing Federation talking about drones. This has actually taken on the drone to another level, all right, where you are able to travel not just at a latitude level, so it actually goes up and using the space as a form of traveling. While you probably will think that, hey, this is quite similar to helicopters traveling between buildings, landing points, and things like that. Yes, but drone technology has actually allowed this to be even more affordable. So traveling to the sky, it may seem a bit sci-fi, in future itself, but it is already happening in China itself. So this is something that, for marketer, what implication does it have? Now, imagine using not just the roads, but space above the roads, between buildings, traveling, delivering, and at the same time, it has the impact of really cutting short on traveling journey, which will allow us a short transitions between places to places. So the mobility has actually taken on at the 3D dimension. So this is something which we predict that it will take on in a very big way, offering another form of transition between commuters. Okay. Last but not least, the 10th trend, generative artificial intelligence. Now, today I was speaking to Dr. Loh Chin Yong from Singapore, a very well-known prof that actually looks into futuristic technology. And it's something that I've also spoke about in 2017 in Mongolia, one of our EMF itself, talking about AI. Now, AI in today's context is not just AI, it's not just human creation alone. Machines and machines, they do speak to each other. Okay, so we were sharing some of the notes this morning itself, before I came on for this, how machines are able to talk to machines without human interaction right now. Now imagine this, you code up you have certain codes for your AI, you created AI using codings, and another organizations or another platforms actually created their own artificial intelligence through coding. And in between this, somehow or other, the AI or the artificial intelligence of A and B somehow or other find ways to communicate with each other without your intervention. And sometimes not even at a language that you are aware of, or you are not even aware sometimes that they are communicating with each other. Now, this is what we meant by generative artificial intelligence. In other words, in today's context, sometimes you won't know, that the codings that you created does actually have a link that opens up communications between both technology or both AI itself, okay, or both machineries. So as a marketer, I think Pak Hermawan was talking about the marketing 5.0. This is something that I think was being covered over there, that as a ethical marketers itself, we should actually look into this trend. Now, this trend is actually a double-edged sword. It can actually help you, it speed things up. It allows human in terms of interactions or human involvement in terms of artificial intelligence communications to be minimized. And on the other hand, machines are able to communicate with machines based on their own language. All right, but if you're just watch this, if it's out of control itself, then this is something that we need to really seriously think about how to regain control in the artificial intelligence atmosphere or sphere. Okay, so generative itself, in a way, they are able to create their own internal language from whatever that was being coded itself. They managed to find platforms or find a language that they are able to actually communicate. Sometimes you don't even understand. It may sound a bit more Wi-Fi. Now, imagine you have created something and then somehow or rather that something itself able to actually come alive, generated itself using some of the codings that you probably have actually embedded within, and they are able to communicate on that level. Okay, all right, with minimum human interactions in between. So remember, I presented a graph on human intelligence versus artificial intelligence. Now, the involvement in is such that lesser and lesser human involvement in terms of creating smarter and smarter AI itself. It is actually a trend that's going on right now, and in future itself, even lesser human interactions will be involved. Okay, so this is something that it's already going on in the trend. So as a marketer, do look out for this trend itself, and at the same time, to ensure that number one, how are you able to write on this platform of generative artificial intelligence on talking between machineries? Okay, so I think the last slide, this is my contact details. If you want, you can actually get in touch with me. And last but not least, of course, this initiative are brought to you by the Marketing Committee of the Asia Marketing Federation. All our association members actually comes together, all the great minds come together and generated something on prediction of the marketing trends 2022. Okay, I'll end my presentation here. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.